I'm like a big Star Trek guy. I watch Star Trek every day in my house. Alex Kurtzman comes along and just shits all over everything, just like craps all over it. And I basically found out he didn't want anybody who had any kind of fondness for the original show.
This video is brought to you by the #1 website builder, Squarespace. Starfleet Academy has hit a new low in absolutely arse entertainment. A show made by a complete moron for an audience of grown-ass toddlers that have the concentration span of a goldfish who's scrolling TikTok while microwaving chicken nuggets. Starfleet Academy is at a level of idiocy I've never encountered.
You're gonna get one shot at this.
In my years of watching streaming shows and movies for the YouTubes, I've had some real low points. Shows so bad that it's hard to imagine adults with functioning brains and opposable thumbs had anything to do with their creation. I thought I'd hit the bottom of the barrel with Disney's Star Wars show The Acolyte. That show was incredibly stupid with the most twisted morals I've ever seen. But move over, Acolyte. Alex Kurtzman's Starfleet Academy has dug through the bottom of the barrel and is heading towards the Earth's core. Now, I'm not even talking about respecting the deep lore and history that comes with being a Star Trek fan. It's way beyond that. I'm talking basic writing, how real people communicate, a story that is consistent from one scene to the next, and a sense of who the bloody show was written for. Mother! You'd hope that people writing science fiction would actually like science fiction. They'd like the ideas, the possibilities, the discipline of world building. This show has none of that.
Blow it out your ass.
Oh, charming!
The dialogue is atrocious, the story constantly changes depending on the scene, the characters shapeshift emotionally depending on what the writers need at that moment, and there is basically nothing here that qualifies as science fiction. Every problem, personality trait, and plot beat is ripped straight from Twitter and TikTok and awkwardly rammed into Star Trek. I'm embarrassed watching this show. I can't imagine what it's like being part of the production. Alex Kurtzman thought, hey, why don't we do Harry Potter in space? Except we'll remove all the charm, the wit, and any sense of wonder. Seriously, Pigs in Space had better writing and performances than this show. And because Alex Kurtzman is a talentless hack that doesn't understand science fiction, the science part has been removed. His Harry Potter-inspired show has replaced futuristic equipment with just magic. People can zap around, clothing and hair can instantly change, objects can just magically appear, and the comm badge can do anything with the wave of a hand. All that's missing is a bloody wand. Honestly, why do they even have ships or weapons? Their tech is so far into the future that they could just teleport whole battalions or nukes into the enemy's bedroom and call it a day. But don't let the Harry Potter magic and childish humour fool you. No, this show's not just for the kids, because it's not being all Harry Potter, it's trying to be Starship Troopers. Yes, we go from talking plant puppets to bisexuality conversations and out-of-place swearing.
You know, I used to know a guy like that War College bicep back on Konya.
God, no.
My parents didn't think we were a good match. Nah, well, I mean, the relationship was doomed after I slept with his sister. Both of them. And their cousin.
So if you are hoping to sit down with the family to enjoy a bit of sci-fi, be prepared for a lot of selling of the LGBT plus lifestyle, because this show is obsessed with it. While enduring this show, you are constantly reminded of the type of people that were involved with the creation of this show. Plain people, obsessed with identity politics. People who have never been interesting, never created something special, never driven a fast car, been in a fight, a dangerous job, or chased the person of their dreams. That's why every tough guy exchange, every flirtation, every attempt at swearing feels so odd and childish. It all comes from these weak soy-based individuals who want the future to turn out as pathetic as they are. That's why we get things like no chain of command.
Chancellor, this is the single dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Yes, attitude is given to every person in command. The students don't respect the teachers. The teachers don't respect the students. No one respects the captain, well, except for the beach ball. The captain doesn't respect her superiors. And we are told constantly that the kids have all the answers. Well, they don't. It's millennial thinking in a universe that would destroy millennials.
I think I swallowed my combat.
Obesity is still a problem. Yes, in this far-off future, where food is made by replicators and completely controlled, and every molecule artificially created, yet high sugar and fats are still a problem. How? We're 1,000 years into the future. Food would be so refined that it would be impossible to be overweight. We have a future so advanced, medicine is dispensed like magic, yet no fat-ass drugs. We have those bloody drugs now. We have people wearing glasses, speech impediments, sign language, people in bloody wheelchairs, in a universe where virtually every disease has been cured and they can replace limbs and organs.
Hold still.
Instead of having a future where everyone is lifted up to be equal, we have to pretend that our human flaws are something to be celebrated. What person in a wheelchair wants to watch a show with the thought that even if they live 1,000 years, they're still going to be stuck in a wheelchair? God, I want to watch a show where we have the fountain of youth drugs, where we all get to stay around 25 looking fabulous and having heaps of sex. Star Trek used to show us a future we'd all want to live in. This show is a backward step from the world we're already living in.
What do you stand for? Have you ever seen a ghost? Made a mixtape?
In the first episode, we have a single mother being sent off to jail, or re-education, or whatever they bloody called it, for stealing food in a universe that has food replicators. Not sure how that works, but it does. We meet Nala, played by Holly Hunter, who sadly has put the wrong false teeth in for this entire show. Her struggle to get her mouth around the dialogue leaves you with only one choice, and that's to watch this show with the subtitles on, because it's not only uncomfortable to listen to her, it's a strain to understand what the bloody hell she's saying. Nala is overly invested in this mother and child. She acts as if she's known them for years. She has not known them for years. Yet this one interaction ends up defining her whole career. Nala's background setup is odd to say the least, but there's not one character in this show that has a close to believable background setup. We have the career criminal who has been on the run since he was a child, who is somehow a technical genius, a champion debater, as well as being an expert on Starfleet lore. This is all explained by saying he had a lot of time in prison, as you do. He makes Ray look like a well thought out character.
You're just recovering.
We have the drill sergeant, who is extremely large and comes from a species that doesn't have females or genitals. That alone tells you all you need to know about how much the creators of this show give a shit about Star Trek. A smarmy, bisexual, pansexual lizard man who brags about having sex with multiple members of the same family. Enjoy the show, kids. Pacifist Klingon, who has panic attacks. Just what everyone wants. Yes, we're only getting the best of every species for Starfleet Academy.
I think I swallowed my com badge.
A short break to thank our favourite sponsor, the #1 website builder, Squarespace. I know what you're going to say. Robot Head, my handsome friend. Why would I need a website? I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the other social garbage. Well, those places are okay for promotion, but you need a home to direct your clients to. Somewhere that's secure and that you can control. Yes, you need a website to showcase you and your wonderful idea. And it couldn't be easier. Head over to Squarespace for a free trial and start with their Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, to get yourself a fully custom website in just a few steps. Or you can grab one of their professionally designed website templates to get you started. Personalize your website with intuitive drag and drop editing, amazing styling options, and on-brand AI content. Squarespace also provides secure payments and client invoicing, so you can safely run your whole business straight from your website. And Squarespace lets you set up online courses with multimedia lessons. It also includes progress tracking and flexible pricing. Get started today by heading to squarespace.com/robothead. That's the important bit, and try Squarespace for free. And then when you are ready to take off, use the code ROBOTHEAD and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Check out the link below. Head over to Squarespace today and get that idea out to the world.
1, 2, 3.
Karim Diane, who is playing Jaden. Yes, great name by the way. Jaden, real clever. He is the worst actor I've ever seen.
Believe it is called beachwear. Gaio wants to show me an island called Ibiza.
We also get a truly bizarre character that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. A hologram that is only weeks old, but has the mind of a 17-year-old. An immature 17-year-old with, I think, mental issues. A hologram is essentially a computer program. Why would anyone create a program that is stunted and needs to learn from another computer program? Why wouldn't she have the latest software? Why wouldn't she just be upgraded instantly? Who would program this thing, and what is its purpose? How does its existence benefit anyone? How do you even program stunted knowledge? Let's say you are programming her with all the history of Earth. How do you choose the right amount of information for a 17-year-old? How do you siphon through millions of data points to decide what a 17-year-old would and wouldn't know? Why make a program that is dumber than a human just so they can slowly learn to be as smart as a human? I can't imagine a more retarded idea. As I mentioned, Nala, our Starfleet captain, has her whole career defined by the events that happen in the opening of this series. She sends a thief to jail. I know, normies, who cares? But you see, the thief is a mother who's stealing food for her hungry son, who runs away. For a 400-year-old Starfleet captain who must have been through some heavy shit in her time, you would think that this event would have been forgotten by Wednesday. But no, because as we know, separating a child from its criminal parent is the worst thing in the world. Fuck off, show. show. This show reeks of current day events in a very one-sided manner. And as this is not a political channel, I will steer clear of linking every bad idea with recent events in a certain part of the world. But you won't need me to keep pointing it out because it's all as blatant as a bloody hammer to the head. Anyway, the kid escapes by using Nala's comm device. Even though comm devices in this show are now magical, they seem to be as secure as a garage door controller. There's no fingerprint scanner or DNA reader, no security measures at all. Anyone can just grab it and use it. We jump ahead a bunch of years, and Sylvester the cat here is teaching children after nuking her career over the kids she didn't know running away. She's offered the job of heading a new Fleet Academy school. This allows her to catch up with the young runaway who is now a career criminal. Being a career criminal, as well as having no education, should be a hurdle for getting into Starfleet Academy, but it's not. It's not at all. Nala really wants him in, and luckily he's a fucking genius when it comes to everything. Now, to join this school, you have to go to one destination to get on a ship that has been commissioned for the school that will fly you to the school location. The ship then becomes one of the school buildings, while also being able to fly the kids around on adventures. This must be the most expensive school ever conceived. A new interstellar vessel for every graduating class. This interstellar vessel schoolroom arrangement allows for hijinks in the playground and in battle. And as I've mentioned, I have no idea what age group this show is aimed at. One minute we have childish lines and sight gags. Next we have swearing, flipping the bird, and characters pushing their bisexuality and the concept of sleeping around. Now, I am far from offended by sex and swearing. I'm Australian. That's our daily routine. But this fascination of modern Hollywood to push adult themes in what should be a family show is demented. It always feels like the writers of this type of garbage think they are above writing a kid's show, and it's really just an opportunity to push woke mentality onto the kids. It's fucking weird. But then again, it's Hollywood. From the get-go, we see that no idea in this show is consistent or thought out. And they don't even try to hide that fact. Case in point, everyone in Starfleet is supposed to be treated equally. There is a short-running joke in quotation marks, that our hero, non-school genius, Caleb, doesn't want to cut his hair. He repeats several times that there is no chance he will be cutting his hair.
You'll need a regulation haircut.
Never.
But when Caleb walks through the magic doors into Hogwarts, his clothes change and he all of a sudden has short hair. Oh, it's funny.
Mother.
The only problem is they decide to have this joke play out right next to another male character that has long hair, who went through the same bloody door. He's right fucking there. Why wasn't his hair cut? Any other character in this scene and it would have been so blatantly obvious that this joke setup had little thought put into it. And I know keyboard freaks who love screaming that that's just a nitpick. Their hair is not important, but the scene is a good example of just how moronic the producers of this show are. Not one of them said, just a minute, the long hair joke isn't going to work with this dude standing right there. But they don't care. They are counting on the audience being too stupid or too engrossed in their phones to even notice. The other problem with this scene is, what the hell does this door do? Is it a transporter? What other things can it change? There's always been the argument on whether the transporter sends you to your destination or if it just replicates you at your destination, in effect killing the original version. It's complicated shit, but it's also way more interesting if it's taken somewhat seriously, you know, having certain locations where it can be used and someone in control of it. That's not the case in this show. In their quest to make the show just like Harry Potter and have magic everywhere, everyone can just zap around at any time. And if the door can change clothing and give someone a haircut, if it can do that by recreating molecules, why not fix medical problems while you're at it? Like sight, deafness, the ability to walk, obesity, and stupidity. Star Trek always had the feeling like you were watching the best and brightest, the best examples of humans and aliens trained to advance the universe. Something to aspire to. A future where intelligence had taken us to a place beyond bullying, bickering, and fighting. A special place. Well, the only thing special about this show is that half the cast seem to have gone with the acting choice of special needs, and they all have the exact same social problems as present-day millennials. Even America's favourite teen drama cliche, bullies are a problem. And the victim of the bullying? A Klingon. Fuck me.
Sorry.
So, who are we spying on?
Please return them.
Don't think so.
Hey.
Now, where's the audience know that this Klingon is a pussy, but the other students don't know this information? So why would they think the warrior, whose motto is have a glorious death, be an easy target for bullying? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it's simple. They think he's an easy target to be picked on because the writers are morons who don't understand the difference between what the viewer knows and what the characters should know.
Whatever you're doing, stop it.
The ship gets attacked, and of course, the students save the day because everyone in this show is a Ray. Intelligence, experience, and knowledge are not things earned in this universe. They are just given out as the plot needs. Our villain escapes to fight another day by slowly floating away in an escape pod that they could have easily captured by simply turning the bloody ship around. I mean, the guy is an escaped murderer who just attacked a Federation ship and most likely killed a few hundred more people. He's just there. Just go and arrest him. How will the spluttering captain explain to her superiors that the escaped murderer escaped by just slowly floating away? Then we have to endure the ongoing story arc where Nala has to convince Caleb to stay at Starfleet Academy, his other option being freedom. The original idea here was that Nala did a deal that if Caleb went to Starfleet Academy, he would avoid prison. Now within the same bloody episode, his choice is either Starfleet Academy or freedom. Why drop the part about going back to prison? Having him there against his will with the threat of prison could be an interesting setup, but now he's just free to go whenever he wants. But don't worry, this idiotic situation keeps coming back. In a future episode, we have him climbing a fence to escape even though he's free to go at any time. It's all so bloody stupid. And apparently in the future we evolved so our asses don't have any feelings because they have furniture that is bloody tiled. Tiles in space. One of the easiest things to crack. Slightest bit of movement. You lean too heavily on a bench, you can crack a tile. Every time there was a battle, they'd have to get all their couches retiled.
Well done, number one.
And that's only episode 1. There are 10 episodes of this garbage. 10 episodes of a science fiction series where science fiction barely exists. Star Trek used to be about exploring the unknown, strange new worlds, alien civilizations, philosophical questions about the future of humanity. You know, science fiction. Shows like Star Trek The Next Generation asked moral questions about technology and ethics. Star Trek Deep Space Nine explored politics, religion, and war across an entire quadrant. But Starfleet Academy often feels like a modern campus drama where the future just happens to exist outside the window. A future hardly any different to ours. The cadets technically attend classes, but the classes rarely resemble serious Starfleet training. They include gardening, debating, yes, we even get a master debater joke, and drama. Millions of dollars are being spent so the drama kids can include drama classes in their science fiction show. Every class has a discussion circle where everyone takes turns explaining their feelings. We get a debate exercise about Klingon territory disputes, which could be a tense diplomatic scenario. Instead, it becomes all about soy boy Jaden, the Klingon, and his polyamorous parents, because you see Jaden's mother gets spit roasted by his two fathers on a nightly basis. Luckily, the supposed fierce warriors aren't the jealous types. This explanation of why Jaden is so pathetic is painful. Nothing like meeting an alien from a warrior race and they were a broken homosexual drip that bird watches. Probably not a good idea to model your warrior on your head writer. And I do love how in their attempt to make every character be on the LGBT plus spectrum, that they have a gay Klingon who's broken and he comes from a family with a fucked up parent situation. Don't know what message you're sending there. Not the best message to be sending in your support of the LGBT plus community. Also, the Klingons have nearly been wiped out. Wouldn't it make way more sense to have one father with multiple mothers instead of one mother wasting the breeding power of two fathers? I don't know, just a thought. Then we get an episode about the hologram Sam investigating the mystery of Benjamin Sisko. My god, was that episode insanely idiotic. So much so that it got its own video. I'll put the link here, but don't watch it now, stay here. We see Jake Sisko reflecting on his father's disappearance into the wormhole centuries earlier, which upsets the hologram. Fuck, who knows why. The tone of this show is completely confused. 1 minute the cadets are engaged in what feels like high school prank warfare. The next minute they're swearing at each other or making jokes about sex. Even the school computer is obsessed with the kids that are all meant to be teenagers, by the way. Yes, the school computer is obsessed with them sleeping with each other. Go family viewing. It's like the writers couldn't decide if the show was meant to be for teenagers or adults, so they compromised by making it awkward for both. Then we're off on the cadets' first real mission. They board a derelict ship that they use for training. Doesn't seem the safest thing to use, and immediately get captured by aliens. Yes, they're future officers of Starfleet, the organisation responsible for defending the entire Federation. They last approximately 10 minutes before becoming hostages, which forces our lisping captain to call for help from Nusbraka, the murderer from the first episode. So the Federation are now so pathetic that when something goes wrong, they rush straight to recruiting criminals for help and hope nobody notices. This would be like the Empire calling on Watto for help in a bad situation. And the twist in this episode can be seen coming from the other side of the universe. Shockingly, Nusbraka double crosses them. Who would have imagined that? Now, Starfleet are meant to be huge. In this show, they seem very small. Actually, it seems like they're getting run out of the school. But Nusbraka achieves massive goals as if his organization is as big as the Empire. He literally surrounds a part of the universe with bombs. We never see how this is done, or the personnel or ships used. A project that would take hundreds of thousands of people and thousands of ships years to accomplish, he just does in a couple of days. Just him and the 5 crew we see that he has. It's so ridiculous. Every episode includes more arguments, more emotional speeches, more mental breakdowns, more scenes where characters explain their feelings like they're auditioning for a therapy podcast. One character has a breakdown and is looked at with trepidation for the crime of saving everyone's lives. Yes, she literally saved everyone, but for some reason, it's seen as a bad thing. We also get the stupid hologram character going back to her home planet to be reactivated and then live 17 years in a different time zone. With the doctor, I might add, to learn how to process emotions. Yes, this is a real show. The hologram coming from a planet where time moves differently is a real brain fart for the writers. You see, the writers decide to make it that 17 years on her home planet is only 2 weeks in the human real world time. Let me explain. Sam was sent from her planet to study human activity. I know it makes no sense because she's a computer program, but give me a minute. At the moment, we're laughing at her home planet journey. Sam, from what we see, is reporting back to her home planet at the most once a month. That means her home planet gets a report every 34 years at best. The things on her home planet are computer programs that could download all of Earth's history within minutes. But for some reason, they're willing to wait 34 years for a progress report on whether this lunatic has made any friends. And for what? What information are they gaining by waiting 34 years for contact?
But I thought my mission was to understand organics so I can explain them to you.
Plus, the Doctor and Sam were left on her home planet for her to grow for 17 years. How she grows, who the fuck knows? But I guarantee you, she grows. Now, did the captain wait for them on the planet? Because we're never told. We're never shown what the captain does while they're gone. If she doesn't wait, does the Doctor then have to send her a signal for when they want to be picked up to come home? And if that's the case, when the hell does he send that signal? 5 years before? 10 years before? Because 17 years is only 2 weeks, so if you want to be picked up the next day, you'd have to message like 5 years before. Yes. Again, this is a real show. Towards the end of the series, we build towards a bigger threat for the Federation, so the cadets can finally prove if they've grown to be capable officers, which is a difficult sell considering we just watched them spend most of the season arguing, breaking rules, or getting captured. By the time this final arrives, the show clearly wants us to believe this group is ready to lead Starfleet into the future. But after everything we've seen, it's hard to imagine them successfully running a fish and chip shop, let alone flying a starship. We also get Caleb's mum returning in a very sexual scene. Whoever directed this reunion looks like their last directing job was on Brazers in the family department. I mean, holy shit. They should stay away from directing anything to do with family entertainment. Probably should also have their hard drive checked. And that's season 1 of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. 10 episodes that somehow managed to turn the most legendary training academy in science fiction into a weird, moralist cesspit of stupidity. A show where the writing is baffling, the tone is confused, the science fiction feels like an afterthought, and the characters spend more time arguing about their feelings than exploring the galaxy. Which leads us to the final question. How does something like this get made? How do you take one of the greatest science fiction franchises ever created and turn its most prestigious academy into a dysfunctional space childcare centre? Because if this is what Starfleet Academy looks like now, maybe the real mystery of the series isn't what happened to Benjamin Sisko, it's how the hell is the Federation still standing? And honestly, after watching this season, that might be the most unbelievable science fiction idea of all. So after making it through this garbage 10 episode season, please let Star Trek die, or at least give it a good rest for a few years, because this show was the worst thing ever put to screen.